West Side for life. I'm talking about the sport mission. Bitches coming out of my native city of Los Angeles. Fight don't stop until a hard stop. Let the new legacy begin. Legacy topic today is about more talk about dictator Trump. Remember, if you watch my different earlier videos, I say I don't refer to our Trump as, the president. I refer to him as the dictator. That's what he is. He got a hunger for power. Everything, is a hunger for power with him. He do things out of spite. Like he does, when he push for certain executive orders, and try to change certain laws, he does it off he does it from his own prideful, emotional perspective from what he feels like what great America should be again. You know what I mean? Jim Crow type of logic. If you look up Jim Crow, it's an explanation of old America. It's an old term to describe old America. So that's why I use Jim Crow. Jim Crow. No, excuse me. I'm sorry. Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam. I'm gonna start attaining that. For people who know, Uncle Sam's like a symbol. It's like a funny looking, like clown looking, kind of like it's an ugly dope head version of some kind of it's like a male version of a witch wearing a big old American hat, 6 foot tall American hat, got like a blue, the traditional American cape, suit on, hanging down towards the ground like it's a dress or something like that. That's how that's like the traditional image of what Uncle Sam is. So every time I talk about Trump, I retain, Uncle Sam to his goofy ass. That's what I'm gonna do. Excuse my language. So yeah, Uncle Sam is a terminology, a definition of what old America is. That's what Uncle Sam is. If you look it up, it represents everything about old America, like the symbolism and all that stuff. Patriotism, patriot type of stuff. Anyways, if y'all wasn't aware, basically 24 states sued, to the Trump administration for putting $6 billion of funds that was supposed to be used for, public, schooling system for kids. The Trump administration put $6 billion that was supposed to be granted to the public, schooling for kids, frozen, put on hold. Back in like earlier this month, like early July. Basically, I don't know. He basically, from like research, there wasn't no explanation on why he put the $6 billion that was already supposed to be given to to the kids for school, on hold. And he just did it like out of spite. He does shit off of emotion for his own. Always give reasoning for different things that he authorizes. Man, he just does because he feel like he has the power to do so, even if it's unconstitutional or whatever. Anyways, it's been settled though. I guess they've been applying pressure to him. Even some of the Republicans in office wasn't, in alliance with what Trump was doing to hold $6 billion, across the nation, for funding for schools for kids. Even some of the Republicans like, I'm not gonna ride with you on that, man. That's unconstitutional. We're not doing that. It didn't even make sense to you to hold $6 billion for a future generation that's going to help carry this country on to the next level. You're holding, funding for kids' education. You talking about making America great again? Okay, at least apply that logic towards education, because making America great again is being all about educated, right? Even though you only talk about a particular group of people, individuals, a particular, color and status and stuff like that. But if you really want to talk about making America great again, right? Isn't it being in America all about being educated and having the best education possible? Isn't it? So what the hell sense does it make to hold $6 billion of frozen funds from kids, from little kids, to be able to utilize for their education so they can be the best possible citizens, carry this country on to the next level in the future? It don't make no sense. There's no logic behind it. I don't care what nobody says. There's no logic behind that. Other than your own selfish needs, to feed your ego. Feed your ego. Anyways, there've been some Republicans in the House stepped up. I guess they applied pressure. Some made some comments, some Some had some conferences or whatever, or they wrote, national statements, and they addressed Trump saying that I do not authorize you to hold $6 billion of funds. It's supposed to be guaranteed for kids, and I authorize you to release those funds immediately. It was Republicans that was pressing the issue. Not all of them, obviously. Probably it was a percentage of, kind of like a small, enough of a percentage to get for the message to get across. Though. So, anyways, the funds are going to be given back to the kids, in time for when the school year starts. So the kids are going to be okay. So they applied enough pressure for Trump to turn his, his broken old wrinkled neck self, and to acknowledge what he was doing. So the kids are going to be receiving their funds. It's not frozen anymore. That's good. Basically, I don't think a reason was stated. I don't think it was a reason stated on why Trump, withheld the funds. Other than, like I said, he has, he feels like he has the authority to do whatever he wants, whether it's unconstitutional or not. Anyways, moving along, this lawsuit that's going on that's been filed against ICE, right, by city of Los Angeles. Obviously, Mayor Bass is, in lead of that. If y'all been keeping up with the lawsuit, Mayor Bass been making little announcements on Instagram about it here and there. But anyways, I kind of known about this for some weeks now. I kind of been keeping up with it as much as I can. Anyways, yeah, like the live, you know what I mean? If you want to hear more about, I'm stepping my game up of doing political discussions about major laws and political issues that are affecting our country right now, society as a whole. I'm looking at it. I'm giving a general perspective. I'm not really taking a side. I might lean more towards, a little more towards, one side at a time. But anyways, I'm an independent. I don't choose. I'm not Republican. I'm not Democrat. And I have my own personal reason for that, because I feel like sometimes Republicans, they do some things, that don't make too much sense to, to my type of folks, coming from my type of class. But sometimes certain things they do kind of do make sense, in order to keep balance, keep money put in the right place anyway. But sometimes either they don't, sometimes they're not for us, and sometimes with the Democrats, they think everybody they for the, black man or people, poor people. Not, yeah, there's some certain policies, they're for us, but then other certain policies, they're a little bit dramatic with it, and it just mess stuff up, just like Republicans. Both parties mess stuff up. So I just look at it, I'm an independent. I look at it from general perspective. I call out whatever is wrong either side. That's, that's how I look at it as. Anyways, like the live, don't be shy. Share it to somebody else if you like it, you feel like they like it about, because like I said, I'm keeping up maintaining these political discussions about what affects our country as a whole right now. You know what I mean? So share it. Subscribe. I want to hear more about political discussions. I'm gonna be on this. I'm gonna be on this like a track star, man. I'm gonna be running at y'all every time. So if you want to hear more political discussions about Trump, I'm gonna be coming at y'all every time like Usain Bolt. If you keep up the fire, keep up with the heat, come see me, subscribe, come see my live, whatever. I'm gonna get it live on here. I'm gonna bring the full political for y'all, what's going on, transpiring, within the nation, especially within locally here in Los Angeles. Because like I said, I'm a Los Angeles native, born and raised, and I keep up with, I got my ear to the streets. But yeah, Bass, she got a lawsuit pending against, it's still pending. The court proceedings are, long. She got a court, like I said, lawsuit in court right now, in the federal court against ICE, basically describing and conveying that basically the things that ICE are doing are unconstitutional, which is true. Which is true, right? To a certain degree, like in some aspects, because they're just, I looked at the news. I've been looking at the news. I don't live in the ice age, what I'm talking about. I look at the news and I be keeping up. I got my Instagram. Oh, follow my Instagram. I just changed the name to Ambitious LA Family, representing my Grass Star 127 Entertainment. It's me and my uncle. This channel is not just about me. It's about me and my uncle, Grass Star, big homie Grass Star, my blood uncle. So also follow my Instagram. If y'all ain't following my Instagram, Ambitious LA Family, just as it's spelled. I didn't put no special little decorations on it, none of that. you slipping. So catch up, don't slip, don't trip, and catch up with your game and follow my IG. And bitch is simple. And bitch is LA Founders. What I represent, it's what I'm about, what I'm talking about, is what I'm bringing to you full force. Grasp that powerful knowledge. Now let's get back into it. Anyway, like I said, Bass got a pending investigation against ICE, for their constitutional, detaining of immigrants based off of their skin color or, the language they speak. Basically, it's biased. They're stopping their arrest people based off their racial profiling, basically, and based off what type of accent they may have, what language they speak, and what areas they might be occupying. If they occupy, an area where a lot of immigrants go work at, they're stopping. They're purposely going over there, to detain immigrants and stuff based off of, basically prejudice type of, thoughts, basically. It's deemed unconstitutional, basically. They stopping them at bus stops. They probably going to Home Depot out here. Home Depot over there off of Western. Yeah, near Western Slauson. It's it's a known spot for everybody know that's out here in LA. A lot of Pisces and stuff. No disrespect. A lot of immigrants be over there. Different immigrants, different Hispanic. I ain't gonna just say Pisces. Different Hispanic immigrants be over there. Looking for work. They be trying to hustle. They be trying to take care of their families. Ain't too many of them over there anymore because they already, they got the heat to, they got the ear to the streets of what's going on. You be a damn fool. Be stand up on that corner, talk about to come arrest me. Basically handing yourself over to the, to the devil. I would never hand myself over to the devil. You're gonna have to fight me a little bit before you can call yourself, victorious over me. Never hand myself over to the devil. If I'm gonna be a fool, I'm not gonna be no dumb fool, a crazy fool. At least I'm gonna have some kind of structure with it. If I'm gonna live that insane lifestyle, right? So yeah. Anyways, yeah. Obviously that insane life, that whatever. Certain, lifestyles have risk. You know what you're doing. If you're illegal, you shouldn't be hanging around on your own spots. That's like if you're gang banging. You hanging around in known spots in your territory where it's been known that, the enemies came through riding on y'all, busting on y'all, hanging out in broad daylight or something like that, like for the world to see. That's just common sense, If you got people after you, your situation ain't right, you got some kind of, got some heat on your back, you gotta lay low. You gotta lay low, man. Do with your regular program, get your regular program out the way early, whatever, go right back home. That's just common sense, kind of similar to a criminal lifestyle. You got the on you, 5-0. Do what you gotta do real quick. Get back in, so they don't, gain a real trail on what you're doing. Don't never offer up your enemies or your opposing side, the ops, whatever you want to call it. Too much detail on what you're doing. Give it too much. It's like getting on live, like, yeah, I'm gonna beat your ass, man, when I see you next time. I would never get on live and say that. I would never, if I had a problem with somebody, first of all, if he addressed me on live, right? The person addressed me on live, talking about, yeah, I got a problem with you. I'll address him back on live, but I wouldn't get too much details. I'd be like, look, man, you already know what this is, man. We can, we gonna have to meet up, we gonna have to holler. You already know. Like, we gonna talk, out of camera's view, and we gonna holler. We gonna handle the situation. I get on live just saying that, keep it as vague as possible, not too much details, and hop right off, and make sure I look, look serious, so the person, the opposing side, I'm serious. Anyway, Bass, I'm going off too long into my discussions. Anyways, Mayor Bass, right? She's fighting hard in the courts right now. Basically saying that what ICE is doing, which I agree to a certain degree, that they're performing unconstitutional, duties by, grabbing immigrants and based off of their skin color, their race, their native languages, and certain spots they might habitat, which may be known for where their kind might be hanging out at, that's considered, illegal, whatever, that the ICE may be looking for. ICE be doing, they police, they be doing all, they probably sit in the room somewhere, one of their little section off little offices somewhere that nobody know about, and they plan this, before they go out, like the police. They got their captain, they got their lieutenants, they got their sergeants, they talk about all this stuff, right? They said, we're going to go, they probably got different squads, different cliques, they probably got like different cliques. They probably got like obviously they got like different regional, ICE units pertaining to whatever jurisdiction that they patrol, right? Whether it's like, they probably got one for different, in this case, probably got one for different cities, different little units that go through different cities. They probably switch up sometimes. Probably go to different cities, different little units and stuff. Anyways, and them units, them ICE units, the different ICE units, right? They might have different cliques pertaining to that unit that might, patrol the city, and they break off in different cliques, like 4 or 5 different cliques, and you got 5, 6 different squads of ICE within Los Angeles at one time. They might be in different neighborhoods at one time. You wouldn't even know what's coming. That's why they wear masks and stuff, because they know what they're doing can backfire. They're like, they on some dictatorship underneath a dictator, so-called, enforcing all the dictators, demands. And even though they, even though they be, obtaining some, illegal immigrants, they're doing it unconstitutional. They're doing it based off of skin color, which is not right, and off of how somebody, no matter how you want to put it, that's not right, man. Let's go back to the traditional racist ways of America, basically. Which brings, anyways, there's a temporary restraining order on ICE right now regarding what I'm talking about. They can no longer, until this court situation is finalized with this lawsuit, right? Throughout the proceedings of this court lawsuit, there's been a temporary restraining order placed on ICE to prevent them from detaining immigrants based off their skin color, the languages they speak, or certain spots they might habitat at. So basically, they no longer can, pursue their little discriminatory, little duties, until this case is decided. So they got a restraining order on them. They're very limited. They're limited right now. I don't say very limited, but they're limited. The only way they can, stop and capture somebody that they feel is illegal is based off of some kind of suspicion. Like somebody that acting like illegally, like they know that they don't want to be seen by you because they know their status ain't illegal. That's the only time they can stop somebody, if they got some kind of a sign that this person may be illegal and they have stopped them, like some kind of suspicion, as it has to arise some kind of a real suspicion. If not, they get in trouble. So right now, LA City is making some progress. They are. But this case is still in motion, but they're making little, they're having little fines go through, and orders go through while they fight this case. They battling it out, right? Like the gladiators, like the culture of LA itself. We are gladiators out here, man. Being mayors and stuff, politicians, we're gladiators, anyways, that's the LA unity. Oh, I want to preach LA unity as well. Like I said, my uncle's, is putting together an event next. I ain't gonna say exactly what park it's gonna be at, but it's gonna be amongst, a certain group of, it's gonna be a month of certain, cliques for our black race out here. Among us, a certain, card, a certain tribe, right? And he's trying to unite this tribe to, overlook differences that might be, going on or whatever, and just unite based off this tribe, underneath our race here in LA. So it's a certain tribe that my uncle's pushing to unite. And, it's going to be an event popping off, like I said, late August at a park. We're gonna give away raffles, give away stuff, and we're gonna have performances from T-Bone, legendary T-Bone from my family's neighborhood, from the iconic, Lynch Mob rap group that Ice Cube pretty much pioneered and stuff. Ice Cube and T-Bone also were childhood friends and stuff. We went to the same high school, I believe. Anyways, yeah, my uncle, is headlining an event next month at a park. When we get close to that event, I gradually give a little more details. Not exposing too much, obviously, but yeah, we'll get the live over there. I get a little bit of a live over there. I ain't gonna show too much at the park. Try to get a little bit of live and do a few videos, whatever. So y'all what we doing as far as giving way back to the community and sponsoring, that community unity. So in regards to that, I want to preach. I said preach. I want to preach LA unity. It don't matter what race you are. It don't matter what background you may come from, what neighborhood, what class. LA unity. So I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, right? A lot of my street life is behind me. My incarceration is behind me. So, I have a family that I provide for and stuff. So I'm ahead of my family. So this is the way I think now. We pay, I work, and there's a lot of workers, hard workers out here in LA, hustle and bustle lifestyle, right? So I'm going to preach LA unity because we have to work together somehow, right? If you're working in LA, you're helping keep the city afloat. You're paying taxes, and the taxes go to the infrastructure. Them tax monies can go to grants for schools, for colleges, kids' schools. Your tax money, right, can go towards, medical out here. Different medical grants. Funded towards different, local clinics, emergency clinics and stuff like that. Taxpayers' money, can go towards, certain parks and stuff, community resources that we have spread throughout the city, that help communities out in parks and like kids programs and stuff like that. So we have to come together when we work, right? We make taxes. I mean, we pay our taxes when we work, and we're allowed to file for our taxes to get what we should be benefited, from and rewarded based off of hours we put in for work every year, right? So we should be able to unite off of that concept, especially during these times of a lot of posing and a lot of heat going on right now. Not even just ice. It's a lot of I'm not trying to see no, racial tension stir up over some bullshit, straight up. There's been too much of that shit. There's been way too much of that shit, especially when you have, like the black race. We've been battling each other for the longest. We're not even united like that. The Hispanic race, especially right now with what's going on with ICE, Trump, obviously is not all the way united right now. There's certain, disputes among their race. There's disputes among the white race out here. Disputes among, other different groups out here. So that's why I'm trying to align myself with LA Unity. I'm starting that movement, LA Unity. Based not off of race, like I said, based off just the fact that if you have LA pride, you work, you help take care of your city, you help keep your city alive, right? This is a civilization. Even though we're underneath federal government regulations, we still control our own city as LA residents, right? Angelinos, you know what I mean? We help keep our city going. There's a lot of money out here in LA. We help. Really, our state is the richest state in the freaking country. So we play a big part in keeping our state is a donor state right off the bat. Right off the bat. It's a donor state. We got Hollywood. We have everything out here, man. We have we got different filming companies out here that produce all the TV shows. A lot of TV shows you see across the country, or even across the world. Movies, biggest stars out here. We have Universal Studios. We have a lot of stuff out. We have a forest out here. We got beaches. We got the biggest tourist you can think of, Venice, Santa Monica, they've been around for the longest. We had the Chinese fucking theater where a lot of famous footprints are been paved. from iconic past figures and stuff, dead and alive. We make a lot of money out here, man. Our city makes a lot of money, and we play a big part in the livelihood of this nation. So that's why I want to preach LA unity. It's bigger than what you think. We all have to play a part in keeping LA alive, right? And keeping it from getting too toxic at times. We're gonna fight sometimes, right? But it's like a family. You get back together, brush your shoulders off, you get an understanding, and then we gotta keep pushing it. Either that, you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything, right? You keep on falling, you're gonna keep falling over and over again. Eventually, you're gonna fall to the point you can't get back up no more. So you gotta have some kind of structure, whatever you're doing. Fight, whatever, make up, and try to build stronger after that. Sometimes you gotta go through your darkest moments to be able to understand your true potential of surviving life, like taking head on whatever life throws at you. You know what I mean? Sometimes your darkest moments really like push. I know I did done time that really pushes you. At times I was left alone, literally. I had to fight. I had to work out, get my body strong, have my differences in there, whatever. Change my certain eating habits. I had to read certain books and stuff to build my reading comprehension, my vocabulary. That's why I'm able to use different words. I learned a lot of these words when I was doing time. Had nothing to do but to look up words and stuff. Read the fucking penal code book from front to back down there, California penal code book. There's a lot of attempted crimes out here in California that you probably really know that it's actually considered a crime. Attempted robbery, they got attempted criminal threats, they have attempted, I think they have attempted, do they have attempted petty theft? They have attempted assaults. It's a lot. That's how California gets you underneath the 3-strike, system. There's a lot of laws that they will consider or deem strikeable. That's not even an actual crime, but since it's a strikeable offense, it's considered violent by nature. That's how they get you. Violent by nature, right? Oh, I didn't rob the person, but you tried to rob the person. What do you mean? I didn't lie to nobody. He said he tried to rob him. You said you was using aggressive language. Oh, you have a past. You've been in jail before. Oh, attempted robbery. No, hold on a second. Wait, hold on. No, I don't give a damn about none of that. I'm getting my. Hey, you got a criminal record, right? Somebody say you try to do something, it's a rap. You got a felony in your background, especially like a violent felony, a serious felony. Somebody say you try to do something, it's a rap. Police come, catch up with you, catch you dead bang on the spot. All you gotta do is ring your name through the system. Oh, I didn't do nothing. No, it don't have to be no evidence or nothing like that. That's the system. See, that's how the system works. You got your name in the system, it can always come back to you. That's why as a felon, especially if you have like a prison record, you got to conduct yourself accordingly in society. You cannot live how you used to live. If you do, you're gonna be a crash dummy. You're gonna end up leaving this earth surface, or you're gonna end up going right back into that fucking big boy's house, doing a lot of time or even life. So you better get your shit straight. If you think you can, live like a damn animal in society, unless you really want to be an animal and go back to the big boy's house and you can be an animal all you want, if you don't get taken out on this earth. Or smoked out on drugs somewhere or something like that. That's the only, the fast life, the gang banging life, that's where it's gonna lead you. That's it. That's why I'm preaching LA unity. There's too much negativity out here. LA's a strong city. LA's been through a bunch of stuff. I'm preaching the LA movement. I'm gonna start talking about that more. Not based off race, it's based off the culture of LA, of what we've been through, and what we have grown to become. It's a movement. Because at the end of the day, we all pushing towards the one purpose, the hustle. You got the hustle spirit out here, which is popular in LA. To survive. Right? And to, in a way, dominate, because we dominate the entertainment industry. We help feed other states. So the whole purpose is to survive and to remain leaders and to help keep invented ideas, which we do. Yeah, exactly. You know how jail is, man. They stick you to something. You got a prior, you got a background. It's like gum. It keeps sticking to your ass. You can't get it off you. It gets annoying. Anyways, I gotta go, y'all. That's my time. I gotta go to work. I gotta go, help pay my taxes. What I was just talking about. Anyway, subscribe to the channel. Don't be shy. Don't be tripping in your lacking, man. Subscribe to my channel. West Side for life. I'm talking about. I'm the next generation of West Side for life. West Side Connection over here. Lynch Mob. I'm talking about. Anyways, West Side for life. Subscribe to me and my uncle's channel. Okay. Anyway, see, look at the women. Hey, how you doing, man? Hey, Vince. Look at them. Hey, say hello. Look at the women in Los Angeles. Look how lovely they look out here. Look, see what I'm talking about? She nice too. We friendly out here. We ain't like the New Yorkers. No disrespect to y'all. Y'all bossy. No, New York. No, I'm from originally from Los Angeles. Oh, okay. Born and raised. But yeah, see our women.
Your life work.
You see what I'm talking about? You see?
To stop by at LA Fitness downtown LA.
Stop by at LA Fitness in downtown LA at the Block Shopping Center. Anyways, yeah, look, see?
Yes.
Anyway, say goodbye to the live. Okay, take care. Sorry about that. But anyways, yeah, see? We out here, we create a lot out here. We entertainers, we got the best looking people, best looking women, and some of the smartest people. Anyways, hop back with them bangers soon. Subscribe. I gotta go. I'm over here BSing around. Subscribe, share, don't be shy to share. And stay tuned. Hop back with another banger soon. West Side, I'm out.